So, thank you, Hassan. I appreciate that. So thank you all for being here. As Greg mentioned, both he and I have been very appreciative of the work already done on your parts here in Turkey and the massive microphone problem I apparently have. What we found in our tour of the last week, besides exhausting Hassan with too many examples from IC², we have found out that there's a lot of competency and a lot of opportunity here for international commercialization. So we're going to talk more later on. But right now, we've had lots of questions from folks about what this program is and what we'll be doing over the next year. So, as Greg already mentioned, BOOST stands for Building Opportunities Out of Science and Technology. Thanks again, Tom, for the support of the State Department of that. And here are the goals of the BOOST program, just so there's no confusion about what we're trying to do here, as presented by State. We want to help build capacity of scientists to perform innovative research, connect with the international scientific community, and apply the technical training in addressing key global challenges and in advancing economic growth. So what that means really is we want to help innovations in Turkey connect with international markets to help drive economic growth here in your country. So our program is a structured training program. It's designed to assist in the early validation of technology for market readiness, as already has been mentioned. It is intensive learning. This is an executive education program. Intensive learning, just for those of you considering applying. It's based upon the global expertise of IC² in the international commercialization space, and the lessons we've learned over the last 30+ years in working internationally in technology commercialization. Greg's going to tell you a little bit more about the background of IC² in just a moment. So, the basics of the program. It's 12 all-day long modules. We're going to start in February. We're going to finish in May, the training. There's going to be 4 sessions of 3 classes spaced out over that time. We're still defining Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, how that progression is going to go during a work week. But we will, rest assured, we will let you know when. The key deliverables for people participating is the delivery of a technology commercialization assessment report, a quick one. That is the core methodology of the IC² Institute, which we will be instructing participants on. This technology commercialization assessment is, just for sense of scope, this is used in place of a master's thesis in the United States in our master's program there. It is a very intensive document to develop with a lot of methodologies and discipline embedded within it. The outcome of that is a go or no-go for technology or a business concept on the international, from the aspect of international commercialization, whether this should really be moved forward internationally or not. Is there justification to move technology forward? We will also have a commercialization strategy document. This is not to be confused with a business plan. I know people have business plans all over. This is a very tactical next steps document on the commercialization strategy, should it be a go forward, for moving a technology from where it is now in your laboratories, in your technoparks, here in Turkey, to international competitiveness. And also there'll be a commercialization recommendation presentation. At the very end, you will take your learnings, present what you've discovered to a panel of judges, along with your recommendation and why you should move forward for international commercialization of your technology. So I'm not going to read all of this. Is this going to be available to them?
Well, on the website.
We'll put it on the website, so you can read this more at length. I don't want to spend 30 minutes reading every word. But this is an overview of the curriculum. So session 1, 2, and 3 will be the first block. Session 1 is introduction. We'll do some team formation. We'll get to the team part in a second. We're going to do some team formation around technologies, an overview of the course, and we will have assignments day 1. So I'm sorry to let everybody know. Day 2, the session 2, will be the introduction to the Quick Look methodology. Its use, its application, its components, and how the basic bones of it. There will be templates provided. There will be examples provided. We will walk you through the construction of it. And there will be assignments at day 2. Session 3 is secondary research. Most of us could agree that when we see business plans or see presentations, they're mostly fed by Google. Okay? There is a place for using Google, but it is not the best way we argue our methodology, but there is a place for it. So we'll cover some of those methodologies early on in the process to help you build the bones around the quick look and get the Googling out of the way early. Then we'll leave. We'll have an assignment that we turned in online. All participants will be given access to an online classroom setting, campus, Blackboard type thing for those of you in universities you may be familiar. Then we're going to come back, and then we're going to really dive into the meat of this. We're going to have a session on conducting primary research, actually reaching out to, speaking with, and interviewing the market on whether there's interest in your technology or not. This is a core part, or really the part, of the quick look that makes it unique in the technology commercialization space. Then we'll talk about developing a technology value proposition. There's concern usually about, well, I don't want to talk to anybody about what I'm doing, they may steal it. We will teach you how to have non-proprietary discussions, talking about the benefits of the technology, but not the features. And there's a difference. Okay? So we'll talk about strategies about how to do that, how to source this business intelligence while letting your secrets out. Then, session 6, we're going to cover marketing. We have a unique, I don't know if it's unique, there's always, you're going to have to market yourselves and market your technology to be competitive internationally. We have strategies to help you with that. We'll leave again, then we're going to come back. At that point, you will have a lot of assignments after that week. So there will be about a 3-week period for you to get those completed and get those assignments turned in prior to the next round. Then we're going to get into technology licensing and partnerships. And what does technology licensing mean? What are options? Get into some of the granular strategies for technology licensing. Talk about negotiations, how to effectively negotiate internationally when you're trying to determine the value and how to put forth your technology on the international marketplace. Valuation's always a concern. How do you convert your idea into something worth money? We'll teach you how to do that. Then session 10 will be the development of a commercialization plan, which is taking the quick look methodology and feeding it into that strategic tactical document I told you about. That will help drive, hopefully the next steps of your technology over the next bit of time. Then there will be a working session before your presentation. We'll spend some time with you clearing up any questions, making sure your presentation's ready, you're able to work with us, and we're able to answer your questions prior to you actually presenting to the panel of judges, which will happen in session 12, where you'll present your findings, what you discovered over the course of the course, during the course. My English isn't good, almost as bad as my Turkish. So, during the course of the instruction, and that's it. So, these are the sections of the quick look. Just so you guys know, this is sort of, there's a whole day about this. there's a whole course about this in the U.S., but these are the different sections that participants will be completing during the course of their instruction. Will be a deliverable. Just so you know, these are usually 60-page documents once it's all done, so these are big things. So instructors, a little bit about instructors. We have a host of instructors that we've used to teach this curriculum internationally. I will be one of the instructors. We can tell you a little bit about our backgrounds real quick. I'm going to cover 2 people who are not here. Marco Bravo will likely be an instructor for during the course of this. He was former Undersecretary for Science and Education in the country of Portugal. He's now an IC² staff. He has 2 master's degrees. He's finishing his PhD in mechanical engineering and transformed the science and technology policy in the country of Portugal. He'll be one of the instructors. Max Green is a gentleman who's in our Office of Technology Commercialization at UT Austin. He has worked on more than $90 million worth of licensing deals, evaluating technologies, and been working there for quite some time. Prior to that, he worked with NASA in the same capacity. Wealth of experience in all manner of technologies and how to license them and get them out of the lab into the market. I'll let Greg tell you about himself. Greg, you want to say a word real quick? Well, or 15 minutes.
Why don't you say first and I'll follow.
Okay, fair enough. So myself, I have a background with a variety of startups, some that failed miserably, some that went really well, just being honest. Learned a lot of lessons that way. One of my businesses had more than $10 million annually in revenue. Did okay. Left that, went to academia. I do a variety of work with a variety of federal agencies in the United States. I've worked in 17 countries on technology commercialization, and I've put together and helped attract more than $20 million in investment to small startup firms in the United States and internationally. So, right?
So my background is I'm a molecular and cellular biologist. I have a PhD in that area. I worked for the Food and Drug Administration for a number of years, both in review and in science. Developed my first product called There, which was a diagnostic device for Leishmania, a particular parasite that was used in India. This diagnostic device was used about 10 years. I've been involved in 6 startup companies, one which I helped bring public in 2001 for $90 million. Been involved in about $100 million in raised funds. I've done deals ranging probably about $85 million in realized capital and grants worth about $30 million. My background further extends into beyond companies, into technology transfer offices, managing technologies, developing licensing relationships, as well as working in the venture capital community. I feel it's a great privilege to work with IC Squared to apply this knowledge in a constructive fashion. We get the opportunity to work with great, smart people on interesting technologies in great areas around the world. So this is a really a great opportunity.
Thank you. So there'll be other cast characters that you'll see, but all that have international experience and expertise in specific areas of this curriculum. So what do participants get? You get fun, maybe, we'll see. A lot of work, certainly. A certificate of completion, which will get you a cup of coffee next time you come to Austin. Just joking. A certificate of completion from the IC Squared Institute and the University of Texas at Austin. This is a curriculum. This is something that there will be some evaluation of, and those who pass, which I expect everybody will get the Executive Education Certificate from UT Austin, which requires a lot of paperwork. You get a joke. But the winner of this gets to spend 1 week in Austin. This is a sponsored trip, which is part of the funding, with us in Austin. And so what we do, when we've done this before, I'll give you an example. A team from Columbia recently came and won one of these competitions. We established meetings for them specifically around their technology with DuPont Venture Capital Group, which allowed them to pitch their technology and seek funding. We established next stage research projects and programs with our Drug Development Institute. And we allowed them we arranged for them to work with one of the preeminent professors and researchers and CEOs, all in the same guy, in pharmacology, which is the area their technology was in, so they could get lessons learned from CEOs there in Austin. And other stuff. We can go on down the list. But basically, we tried to deliver a tailored week, which allowed them to pitch their technology to the market in the U.S. for whatever that team needed, which is why your quick look is so important, so we know how to help you best when you arrive in Austin. So there might be questions about teams by now and how these teams are going to be formed. So the training will handle 40 people. There will be 10 teams of 4 people. We're going to what we're going to do is we're going to have applicants from around the different institutions and the community here in Turkey that we visited with. We want 10 technologists. That means people that have been involved with either creating a technology, maybe work in a lab with a professor who invented a technology, some representative of a technology from Turkey. Because the cornerstone of this education is working on Turkish cases, real technologies from here, not bringing in Harvard case studies or some other hypothetical example. Work on real living technologies and move that forward. We want 10 folks from the technology transfer community, those people exploring those activities, so that you guys can better understand how to evaluate your technologies and your portfolio as they come in. Folks from the public section, federal agencies, those types of organizations that we've met with, as you guys are working in your respective areas, being able to evaluate projects that are technology-based is often quite helpful. And academic research persons from either industry or university, people that ideally that can act as subject matter experts to help bolster the team's expertise. So how are the teams going to be formed? We're going to take applications. Folks at IC Square, we have experience doing this. We will work with our partners at BuildKit and Teknoloji to help form the teams around technologies based on the application data received. How do you get in? So applications will open on the website, which many of you may have seen already, uttp.org. We're going to open the applications next Tuesday. There's two separate application forms. One is for entrepreneurs, technologists, people that are going to represent a technology in the program, and another application form for potential team members, those interested in working on this process. As I said already, 10 teams of 4 will be accepted, 40 persons total. Teams will be announced in January, very early in January, once we sort through the applications. Classes will start in February, final class dates, meaning which days of February, March, April, they will be announced on the website very shortly. So that's the program in a nutshell. Are there any questions about what that is, or did we get most of those answered? Sir?
I'm a lawyer. Can a lawyer be eligible for one of these schemes, for example, public persons?
Absolutely. I mean,
I'm very interested in international commercial contracts, especially IT projects.
Well, so we encourage those legal individuals that have worked with public agencies, or yeah, short answer is yes. We want people with legal expertise to apply. So yes, certainly. Very good. Yes, ma'am.
If we do things, for example, you have to have 10 people from public or 10 from criminal, it should be possible.
We'll see. It depends on how many applications we get. So it really depends. In the past, I can just tell you what's happened in the past. In the past, when last round we did this in Columbia, we had 40 slots. We had 167 people apply. You know, we had to do some moving things around. And we did work with our partners based on the agency fit. Because what we're trying to accomplish here, we're trying to diffuse this methodology throughout your respective agencies. So we want to give everybody equal chance to learn. Greg?
One of the questions that Tom asked is, you do not have to apply as a group, as a team. We will basically assort team members along with a technology, such that you will have to work with people you may know, you may not know well. Because part of the goal of this is to build new relationships and learn to rely and work together as teams.
Right.
So do not feel that you have to build a 4-person team to apply. You can certainly try to do that. You know, yourself and 3 other friends apply. But you don't have to. You can apply as an individual. And again, if you have a technology, you're going to be competing to be one of the 10 technologies that are chosen to be built, teams to be built around. And to answer your question as well, we're going to pick the best people to be in the program. We'd like it to be a ratio as close as we can to have good representation. But we're going to pick the best individuals based on their qualifications and their fit in the process.
I have 2 questions. One is attendance mandatory, and second, are they going to be shuffling of the teams throughout, or once you're in the team, you're going to stick with it till the end?
Good questions. Attendance is mandatory. There's actually a little button on there on applications that it's almost like a contract. So if you agree to do this program, that means you, your boss, whomever you answer to has agreed that you will be allowed to come to these trainings. Okay, if day 1, oh, I showed up late and my boss said I had to take emails, so I have emails, I get it, I know. But if that happens, you're going to be so far behind and hold your team back, it's just not fair to the rest of the group. I will get to you 1 second, sir. And then, so mandatory, yes. I mean, if you have to run out to make 1 call in a day, we're not going to throw rocks at you or anything, but you need to be there and be present and support your team. As far as team,
one example of this in Colombia, one of the team members was actually on a trip in Europe and actually Skyped in for the day-long trip in the middle of the night in Europe to attend the class during the daytime in Colombia.
So they were talking screen throughout the class. We can be flexible like that, but we want you there.
Commitment.
It's commitment, right? That's what it's free training. But it is an opportunity. There's commitment. As far as team shuffling, all right, you're probably going to be on teams. Some of you may be paired with somebody you don't like. You may get in a fight. I don't know. It happens. But at the end of the day, it's important that everyone learn to work together. So the short answer is no. There will not be team shuffling. You need to, part of this is learning how to work together. This is part of the whole experience. Sir?
How many hours a week?
How many hours a week?
Because it seems like it's going to be a 5 months process.
Well, it is a 5-month process. Obviously, we can't travel here every week. So it's going to be grouped out. So 1 week, I'll give you an example. We're tentatively slated in February to do the 20th, 21st, 22nd, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That would be 24 hours of instruction. Okay, that week you give up 24 hours. The next set is staggered, so it would be like the second week of March because there's not so many assignments in between there. Then the next set after that is not till April. You have like a month. But it's so you can get your assignments done because we give you an assignment after that. So if it averages out over that period, you're basically looking roughly around 12 to 14 hours, roughly, of class time.
1 week every month.
That's a safe bet. Dude, that's a safe bet. Now that's for class time. Planning on homework and assignments, plan on roughly 5 to 10 hours per week. There will be spikes. Once you get assignment turn in, you'll be like, oh, I'm good. And then all of a sudden you're going to say, oh, I have to work with my team for the next 22 days straight to get it done. And it happens. Just so you guys know, I mean, we're mean. It's horrible. Any other questions?
Do you have to have a specific project that you work on before? Is it a prerequisite to come to this course?
So the project, we need 10 cases, 10 projects to work on.
I mean, will that be a case study here, or the case is already being worked on by the participants?
So let me make sure, I may not.
Are you going to give out technologies that we?
We're not giving out
We
technologies.
have to find them on our own?
Correct.
Not apply.
To apply as an entrepreneur or technologist, you need to have a technology. To apply as a team member, you do not. Does that make sense? Because we need 10 cases from Turkey to work on.
So what's the prerequisites to apply as a team member?
The prerequisites?
Yeah.
Requirements for applying, there's no hard and fast requirement. I mean, the general selection criteria will be as you expect, 1, educational background, 2, work experience in this field of tech transfer, funding agencies, law, business, engineering, something like that. We need a distribution to make effective teams. Commitment to the program. Yes, I can attend all the days. That's a prerequisite, if you will. Some level of competency in English. Okay? Unfortunately, as I already said, my English is bad and my Turkish is worse. So I'm sorry. But most material will be in English, and there's actually a reason for this. Is as you look to international commercialization, that's how business is done. And so it's important that we give you as much exposure to terminology and verbiage and even slang in English in this commercialization space, that when you go to move things forward, you're able to dialogue and communicate effectively in this manner. So it will be in English. So now that you have that perfect, we've worked with people that understood well, didn't want to speak it, and they got through it, and it was okay. But it is.
You may want to go back over the 2 different applications.
Yeah, let's walk through that. Okay, so all right here. There's 2 application forms that'll be on the website. One, there'll be an entrepreneur technology lead application. This is the application form where if you have a technology you want introduced into the program, whether from your laboratory, from your company, from your, you can do an idea, but we need to have something, hopefully with some kind of intellectual property protection capability, of some kind, whether know-how, patent, whatever. This is where we will select the projects and cases that we'll be working on throughout this program. Okay? So this, in that form, in that first one, that's where a technology is needed. There's a whole section on what your technology is, what status it's at, describe it to us a little bit so we know what we're dealing with. There will be an element of selection. We've worked on literally thousands of technologies around the world for commercialization purposes. We have seen, as Hassan knows, too many examples. We've seen plenty of examples, so we know not exactly what everything is. We have a good sense for what we can best help in. And the goal of this is at the end, we want to be able to move it forward. We would love to get a success out of this initial program. So there will be some selection based on our competency as IC Squared and the University of Texas at Austin. Fortunately, we worked on everything from cheese to, nuclear reactors, and everything in between. So we have a pretty good idea of how things work in almost any field. The team member application does not require technology. It has nothing to do with that. It instead has more to do with your motivation and interest in participating in this program as it's described, as well as your commitment to be able to participate. Did that explain that again?
So there are two stages.
Two different applications.
And some people will make two applications. Some people will make only one, right?
Correct. Well, I mean, if hypothetically, if somebody has a technology idea they want to present, they would also like to try and apply to be a team member. It is conceivable that maybe the technology wouldn't be selected, so they'd be selected as a team member, or either way. So that's possible.
And maybe it's better to communicate with the other people here, because maybe our company has some capabilities, but we don't have an idea.
Now, if you don't have an idea and you want to talk to one of the university partners over the next couple of weeks and try and figure out something you can work on, that's up to you.
At what stage should that be?
Any stage. It can be idea, it can be prototype, it can be ready to go to market in theory. The methodology is able to be applied at any stage. Okay, it doesn't matter. We don't care what area of science it's in. We don't care what stage of development it's at. We can apply it on all phases. So we don't care on that end. So any stage. And as far as getting together with other groups to do a team application, if you will, is that where you were going with that? Were you asking if you should maybe get with other folks to do a team application? You can certainly try and do that.
There's no promises.
There's no promises that it will be a team that's accepted all in one. But you can certainly try. And it may mean a strong application. We'll take a look. Yeah?
Let's assume that we are technology industry program. Should this technology be commercialized successfully? Will University of Texas or IC demand a share on the product?
Ooh, good question. What's the catch?
You already got to the commercialization process.
That's a good question. Are you law?
No.
So the short answer is no. We're not taking part of anything. Okay. We're not demanding any equity. We're not demanding any shares. We're not a thing. People have asked, why are we here? Why are we doing this? Is it goodwill? What is this? Our real reason for doing this is one, because Greg and I honestly like going different places. But two, why not here? And John told us we had to come, so we did. But the real reason is it's the mission of the University of Texas to expand our global recognition. And it's our mission of our institute to take the lessons we've learned and promote those globally. So we have a mission to fulfill. As a result of that, whenever we work with a group, actually we are not even allowed to take an equity piece because we are a public institution by our rules in the United States. Huh? The University of Texas is a public institution. We are non-for-profit. We are not allowed by our laws to take an equity piece. We can get real creative and try and steal something if you wanted, but no, that's not what we're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, so, but excellent question. Yep. Okay, so thank you for the questions. We've gone over time, but I'm glad we got a lot of these things cleared up. It's very important. Greg's going to talk next, And if there's additional questions afterwards, when we're done, feel free to talk to one of us about that.